Okay, everybody, going to be getting into our next unit here, which would be economics and economic systems. And, for world cultures, guys, this is crucial because so much of what we talk about, culturally, believe it or not, goes back to economics. And it's important to understand that. And so for a minute, just, kind of yourself, I want you to think about the role that economics plays in your life, okay? And sometimes, especially when you're younger, economics isn't something that you think about necessarily every single day, right? But in the end, it really does impact everything. And a lot of people don't like to study economics or they don't understand economics. They think it's all math. In many cases, there's a lot of math, but it's also very much in conceptual type things. So we need to understand economics so that we get how things really do work. And so this short video will kind of give you a couple of the ideas that we need to understand, and then we'll kind of move on from there. So in the end, what everything revolves around is scarcity, okay? And I want you to understand this, and it's pretty straightforward. There's lots of math and stuff that goes with it, but here's the idea. That all people and countries have unlimited needs and wants. We want stuff, we need stuff, we have to have stuff. Now, sometimes seeing to those wants more than needs is what causes problems. But the bigger problem is that we do not have the resources, labor, and time to fulfill those needs. Okay, we just don't. We can't get it done. So, as a result, nations have to make choices, and that is scarcity, that we have to figure out what we're going to make, and we have to figure out how we're going to make it in effective ways. And it's really, really hard to do that. And if the more nations get it right, you end up having tremendous levels of success, and you can have really large economies. And if you get it wrong, well, your economy can really, really suffer. And in the end, that's just not going to be good. So scarcity is what really is going to determine everything moving forward. Now, what scarcity results in would be what we call three economic questions. Okay, and those three questions, as you see here, are what to make, how to make it, and for whom to make it for. Now, this is really crucial because based on your scarcity of resources, time and labor, you have to figure out what to make. And so the key thing about what to make is that you want to make things that people are going to want to buy. That's what's really, really important. Okay, and you try to make what people actually do want, and that's pretty tricky. And that is really determined by me and you, and when you buy stuff, you're telling people you like it, so they're going to make it. The how to make it is left up to businesses and sometimes the government. Okay, it's their job to figure effective ways to make things, and the more that you do that, the more success you can have in your economic life. Now, the final thing is for whom to make it for, and that is really determined by people's economic levels. In other words, are you lower income, are you higher income, and that determines what types of products are being made for you. And if you see this, you can see it all kind of flows together on this chart here. Now, as you see this guy, basically what ends up happening is that you have to do some trade-offs, and you did that ever since you were little in elementary school lunch, is that we have to figure out what the best things are to make and the best ways to make them because we can't make everything. All right, so scarcity is the number one thing, which leads to the three economic questions, which leads to the ideas of making trades or trade-offs, which will determine those types of things. And with a trade-off, you just hope you make the good decision. In the end, getting the cupcake for the juice box is probably a good thing, but if you're thirsty later, then it might not work out so well. Now, this is so crucial to understand because economics really can dictate everything a nation does. As you can see here on the right, if you notice, there are certain nations we hear more about and certain nations we hear less about, and a lot of them have to do about economies, okay? I have low-income economies, so it's $765 or less per year. And look at how much of the world is in that lower income bracket. Much of these places survive on less than $1 or $2 per day, and that's a topic we're going to talk about later. And then you have the middle income and then the high income, which you happen to be lucky enough to be a nation that's involved in that. But it is so impactful, these economies, because if you have enough resources that you can trade, you can expand what you're doing. It really is something that we have to follow in every single nation, okay? Because if you have a solid amount of money, you will be able to have your nation do a lot of different things. Technological development, things like the internet, things like leisure things, and being able to go on vacations and all that type of stuff. All of those things are made available to you if you're in these higher end. Okay, education, stuff like that. So if you look and you go to these other areas, we often call them less advanced, or we don't think they're as smart as us. The problem of what you're looking at here, but it is not that they are those things, but they lack the resources to build an economy to get those things. And that's going to be so important in every single thing that we talk about. Okay, so in the end, just a little bit of a shorter video. So what I'm going to ask you to do is on the first assignment, if you look on the Google Classroom, you're going to write 3 comments and 3 questions on this video, and we're going to talk about it more in class tomorrow. All right, see you guys.